Hey everyone, I think there's this quiet revolution happening in Hollywood right now, and Gladiator II is a prime example of it. And well, let's just face it, studios are flooding cinemas and streaming with sequels, adaptations, and continuations. It also feels like we're starting to see directors like Ridley Scott quietly rebelling against studio demands, subtly flipping the bird to the notion that every story should have a follow-up. So, what do I mean by that? And why would I open a Gladiator to review like this? Well, before we get into it, you know the drill. Please do be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more and tell YouTube's algorithm what you think. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so Gladiator 2, it is set in this decaying, divided Rome, and it follows the young warrior Lucius, the son of Lucilla and former Emperor Commodus, who had been hidden away for his safety, but now returns to Rome as a gladiator in the pit. Rome is now in the hands of two deranged twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla, whose lust for war and power, they're just driving the empire into ruin. They rely on the power of General Cassius to expand their influence. But you know what? Cassius is not the puppet they think. And he's kind of become disillusioned by their endless desire for conquest. And that's how the story kicks off. From the opening scene, there is a purposeful and distinct tone to Gladiator 2 that is reminiscent of the original. It's bold and almost sardonic in its way, and it's as if Ridley Scott himself is telling the studios that if they insist on sequels, he's going to do it his way and he's gonna have some fun as he does it. And you know what? As I left the theater, I had this weird moment of thinking about that scene between Princess Leia and Han Solo when she tells him, if money is all you love, then that's what you'll receive. That is what I thought of. And true, Han Solo pulls off the hero shot in the end and saves Luke Skywalker. But it's the sentiment in that exchange that infuses Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott made a sequel and he kind of leaned in hard on the themes he wanted while sticking to those obvious rules and plot points that needed to be hit in a sequel, but without taking it too seriously, I think. In the first film, we see Rome at its height. And yeah, it's impossible to do this review without making comparisons to the first film. But I am still going to try. Still going to try. 2 decades later, the decayed grandeur of Rome really feels like a city and a society, honestly, that has begun to eat its own rotting corpse. Mostly because the twin emperors are truly insane. It made me feel like this was the film that Megalopolis was trying to be, but wasn't. The city's former glory under Emperor Marcus Aurelius is only a dim memory at this point, and there's an undercurrent of defiance in every scene. You either play the political game or you die. It's bleak, it's dark, and it's actually pretty thrilling in parts, but it's also balanced with some interesting moments of hope. Okay, so Pedro Pascal's track record continues with protecting the magical child, but in this case, the child has already grown into a man. I really loved Pedro as General Cassius because he does a really nice job of playing a conflicted man who is haunted by the lives he's taken. However, he delivered a few lines early in the film that were awfully stilted and a little bit awkward, and I was a little bit worried when I saw that. Connie Nielsen returned to play Lucilla. She's the daughter of former Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and she's now Cassius's wife. She bridges the gap between the two films. Then we have Denzel Washington, who plays the gladiator businessman Macrinus. And honestly, he is the most interesting character. He's got the most interesting storyline, and he is just a cunning and ambitious man with his sights set on the throne. However, his voice and his distinctive way of speaking is just so iconically Denzel that there were a few times when I kept seeing him as Denzel Washington in a toga, not as Macrinus. Finally, we got Paul Mescal, who's great. Yes, he was great as Lucius as well, and playing the conflicted young gladiator prince who wanted both revenge and love with his return to Rome. The film did a good job with the deep dive into the political machinations of Roman politics, as characters all try to navigate their way through that complex game of cat and mouse between each other, Macrinus, and those two crazy twin emperors. Ridley Scott didn't flinch on showing us the madness and the depravity of the emperors without actually showing us how they became emperors, which was a little annoying. He also got into showing us how Acacius's loyalty to Rome was greater than his loyalty to the emperors, which drove home the point that leaders who don't embody the best interests of their country and their people often don't stay in place long. There's a subtle message here wrapped in the action and spectacle that hope and rebellion against corruption are worth fighting for, and good people often clothe themselves in wolves' clothing to bring down a tyrant. However, it did all feel just a little bit tired, I have to say. The problem with this is that the plot felt like an echo of the original. There wasn't anything truly new or original in this film, so Ridley Scott must have decided that since he couldn't be truly new and original in the film, he was gonna have a good time in the Colosseum, and he was gonna have fun with the gladiator scenes in the arena. It really felt like he just said, screw it. I'm going to do all the other scenes for the studio. I'm doing these battle scenes for myself. And boy, are they fun. He might have jumped the shark, literally, with the Colosseum water scene. However, because of the baked in storyline, Gladiator II had lots of moments of predictability with all of the expected story beats of ambition and betrayal and revenge, the gladiatorial combat. Is that how you say it? Gladiatorial combat. In any case, those scenes felt like a breath of fresh air in that decayed city. However, I'd argue that Ridley Scott delivered a film that we expected to see in pretty much the way that we expected to see it. And he made it exciting along the way because of those combat scenes. The most interesting character in the film, again, was Denzel Washington's Macrinus. He manipulates every situation to his advantage, cleverly maneuvering through Rome's political landscape toward his ultimate goal. It's refreshing to see a villain with such unrestrained power and intellect gleefully outsmart everybody in his path and forcing them into the traps of his design. Macrinus's ruthless ambition paired with literally the huge number of random people within the film who were all playing their own set of games of cat and mouse really makes you question who you can and who you can't trust. It's a real lesson in political strategy, frankly. Overall, Gladiator II was a fun film that knows what it is and stands up at the end as a good film. It's predictably good fun with swords and lots of fighting. It's not hindered by historical accuracy, but it does do a great job of creating the look and feel of the time. Coming in at 2.5 hours, it does feel a bit long at times, but reducing the playtime would have made the character arcs feel even more rushed. Besides, most of the longer scenes were the fun action sequences. If you're looking for a film that embraces story and spectacle with a dash of hope at the end, Gladiator 2 is worth the ticket price. So, Gladiator 2, what did you think of it? Did it live up to the legacy of the original for you, or did it fall short? Do you think Hollywood's obsession with sequels and shared universes is starting to affect the quality of storytelling? This I'm really curious in. And what did you think about Ridley Scott's battle scenes? Were they enough to balance it all out for you? Let's discuss in the comments below, you guys. I can't wait. Let's chat. While you're here, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos because there are more coming. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you all again soon. In the meantime, happy viewing. Bye for now.